Hi everyone, welcome back to Maximum Attack Rallying. It is Monday and there's lots to talk about. We've had some quite positive videos recently. We had me buying a new car, which was very exciting, and we had Rally Kerry digging, which was very exciting. There's been lots of good things happening in rally world recently. Even the Acropolis Rally, that was pretty good, wasn't it? Pretty exciting. Thierry Neuville won. I think it's safe to say that he is well and truly in the driving seat for the 2024 championship. He looked supreme. And Toyota, on the other hand, kind of fell apart. Everything that could go wrong for Toyota kind of did go wrong. We had turbo failure for Evans, turbo failure for Ogier. Evans rolled, Ogier rolled on the power stage. It went wrong, didn't it? It went very, very wrong for Toyota. I feel bad for them. They had a nightmarish weekend, didn't they? And I think their chances of winning either championship now look bleak, don't they? I think even Latvala has admitted that it's probably gone for both of them. So it was a decisive weekend in the championship for sure. It should be then that there's lots of positive things to talk about in WRC world right now, but I'm struggling. I'm really struggling. So I try to defend the WRC. I try to defend the top of the sport. I think the WRC is very important. It is the kind of shining beacon, isn't it, that should attract people to rallying. And, you know, I'm not one of these people who harks back and longs for the days of old. I don't buy into all of that. Yes, I love a bit of nostalgia, but there's much more to life than that. And we have to keep looking forward. So I'm not one of those people. I'm not a bring back Group B, you know, the Escort was the best car in the world type of people. That's not me. But my God, is it getting difficult. It really is getting very, very difficult to defend what is happening right now. It's just typical of this, before I get into the main topic, typical of this is that Ogier, not only did he have all the crap he had to deal with the car and rolling and all that stuff, he was given a €30,000 suspended fine by the FIA, dragged in front of the stewards for apparently being disrespectful to the FIA and to the rally organisers. Now, he had put in a request before the event for larger gaps between the cars because of dust, and he was frustrated. This was after stage one, I think, and he was frustrated because they'd said no. And in the heat of the moment, he said in an interview, and I quote, sorry, I'm having to read this. It is annoying to see that the sport never learns. We ask, we know that we are going to have dust. There is hanging dust. Oh, they say no. What do you have in your head? Nothing. It's crazy. Really? He was given a suspended €30,000 fine for that? What are they thinking? What are they thinking? The very thing that sport thrives upon is drama. We need drama. You know, Ogier's little dig at Neuville over the weekend was probably more offensive than that, by the way. That needle, that is what creates the drama. That is what creates the stories. It creates the narrative and brings people to the sport. If you look at Formula One, you know, Drive to Survive, the reason that has attracted such a large audience is because it shows people drama, it shows people human stories. Yes, a lot of people like seeing cars go fast, don't get me wrong, but it is drama and human stories that make sport so attractive. If you look at any sport, that's why people love it. They love seeing people pushing themselves and on the edge and really going for it. So that wasn't offensive, that wasn't rude. I mean, if we want to be rude about the FIA, my God, they are giving us plenty of ammunition right now. And that is what this video is about. So this is an unashamed rant because I am really, really struggling to understand what on earth is going on. So apparently we're now dishing out suspended fines for people expressing any kind of emotion, which is ludicrous in itself. And then we have this situation. So over the last week or so, over the last few weeks, there has been lots and lots of rumour building about Hyundai, hasn't there? We know that they're interested in a World Endurance Championship campaign, and we know that they've only officially committed to the championship for next season, for 2025. We then started to hear rumours last week that they were even considering using a satellite organisation, maybe PH Sport, who used to run the Citroën Rally2 cars, to run the Rally1 cars for them in 2026, which presumably means they wouldn't be there in 2027. Cyril Abiteboul basically said that they are considering this satellite arrangement. And then just before the Acropolis Rally, Thierry Neuville signed a new contract with Hyundai, which is great, but it was only for 1 year, so it was for 2025. So, I mean, basically, while it's not confirmed, for me, it's effectively confirmed, isn't it, that Hyundai after 2025 are gone. You know, they are, if the cars are still there, they will be run by a separate company, and there will not be a 2027 Hyundai. That is a disaster for the WRC. That is an absolute disaster. It is a huge, huge blow, and I think the chances of it happening are now extremely high. Even Oyt Tanak said in the run-up to the rally that that Neuville's contract is concerning. So, you know, I think the harsh reality is that Hyundai are as good as gone. So we find ourselves in a position where the WRC is about to go back to one proper factory team, and then M Sport. That is horrendous. And then, oh my goodness, this blew my mind. So I think it was on Dirtfish. Dirtfish ran a story. There is going to be a meeting about the next steps and the future direction, whether we're going to be further discussions about the regulations for 2027 for Rally 1. And also it mentioned that they are even considering extending the Spaceframe concept to Rally 2. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. What is happening? The lunatics are running the asylum, as I said on X over the weekend. What are they playing at? How is anyone sitting in FIA towers thinking, yeah, this is the solution. This is definitely what we should do. Unbelievable. I don't even know what to say about this. Rally 2 is arguably the most successful single set of regulations in rallying history, nay, even motorsport history. It has been a huge success. It has been in place for more than a decade. It has seen Ford have built a car, 2 generations of Fiesta, in fact. Skoda have built 2, maybe even 3, really, I suppose you could say, generations of the Fabia. Peugeot have built a car in the past. Citroën have built 2 different cars. Hyundai have built 2 different cars. Well, it is an absolutely brilliant set of regulations. You can argue it is the perfect set of regulations. Contrast that with Rally 1, which has seen M Sport build a car with some help from Ford, Toyota build a car, and Hyundai build a car, which they're now scrapping. And we think that is the basis for Rally 2, let alone Rally 1. I cannot state this enough. Rally 1 is a failure. The FIA need to sit up, wake up, realise Rally 1 failed. No one likes it. The fans don't like it. Manufacturers clearly don't like it. It has failed. In its cycle, we've seen the only manufacturer activity we have seen is one leaving. It absolutely baffles me that they could think not only to continue with it into 2027 in revised form, to actually think about extending it. Utter madness. The obvious solution to me, ignoring Rally 1 as the top category for a second for Rally 2, I understand why there is concerns about Rally 2. We find ourselves in a situation where manufacturers in a lot of markets are moving away from small hatchbacks. So what's the solution? You know, if the Fiesta's gone out of production, the i20 is apparently going out of production, you look for a different segment. And what segment is really popular among manufacturers right now? Small crossovers. Now, I don't like small crossovers. I wouldn't buy one, and they're not a car that interests me. But if that's what manufacturers are pushing, isn't that the obvious starting point? I mean, they're not even that much bigger. If you look at the wheelbase for a Ford Puma, it's only a few millimetres bigger than a Fiesta. So isn't that the obvious place to go? You just alter the regulations to fit those cars and carry on as we are. Why not do that? Why do we need a space frame? Alternatively, and I know this might seem like insanity, why don't we actually have a conversation with the manufacturers? And I don't mean Ford or Hyundai or Toyota. Why aren't we talking to Opel and Peugeot and Renault, manufacturers that are making cars for the lower categories, and say, what cars would you like to see? What car would convince you to extend your program to build a Rally 2 car? and go out to other manufacturers who aren't involved in the sport at all. Volkswagen and whoever else, Audi. There are many, many manufacturers, Chinese manufacturers, for example, who are desperately trying to break into new markets. Go and talk to them and say, what cars would you like to see? If we picked a segment, what segment would make you consider coming? And obviously have all your media and salesy stuff there as well. Isn't that the way to go, rather than just saying, do you know what, let's make another Spaceframe? Because that's gone really well for us, hasn't it? It's just utterly, utterly baffling. And they can try and justify it in terms of propulsion methods and safety. Well, for start propulsion, Peugeot have made a 208 which can use electric, petrol or hybrid. So, we're not talking about massive changes if you want to run different propulsion systems. Hyundai in their previous generation Kona, that was available with electric, petrol, hybrid, and I think even hydrogen. So you can fit any powertrain you want into a car. It's easy enough to do that. You don't need to fundamentally change the car, because a lot of manufacturers are already building cars that can use multiple powertrains. So I don't buy that. And as for the safety thing, I get it. But if you look at the fundamentals of the regulations for Rally1 and the Spaceframe, we're talking about really a double roll hoop and increased side impact protection. Well, if you go to a crossover which is slightly larger, it's not difficult to fit a double roll hoop, is it? It is still just a steel tube at the end of the day. And you could easily integrate additional side impact protection. You could put additional tubes into the sills of the cars. And as a Brucey bonus, by using a production body shell, you've got all of that steel, all of the existing safety that is designed into modern production body shells, rather than it being a space frame with some carbon fibre panels tacked to the outside of it. So I don't buy the safety argument that a space frame has to be a step forward, because a roll cage, a modern roll cage in particular, basically is a space frame. They are so advanced now. And so it's not a massive jump from one to the other. So I don't really buy the safety argument. I think we could easily update the roll cage regulations so that we get to the level of Rally1 or very, very close to it. It's madness. The FIA are bonkers. If they want to be worried about offensive language and people being rude about them, it looks to me at this point like they are clueless. I think honestly I think we are in real danger right now. If you look at Rally1, which I think should be scrapped, I still believe that it should be scrapped and we should be looking towards a Rally2 type format, especially now Hyundai have gone. We need to slash costs and really go back to basics. And as I said, go and actually talk to manufacturers and find out what they want, because we're now in a position where we basically need to beg a manufacturer to come and join. We have to keep it simple. And Rally2 is proven, isn't it? Like I said, proven with a decade of success. Rally1 has a couple of seasons where it's not really worked. It hasn't attracted anyone. And we are at a point where we're only 2 years out from the next set of regulations and we don't know what they look like yet. And any manufacturer would tell you that realistically you need those 2 years to design and develop a car. So we need a new manufacturer to come in now and say that they're going to build a car, but they don't actually know what car they need to build. Whereas if you said, we're switching to Rally2, well, they know the regulations. I don't know what to say. I don't know what else to say. I really am genuinely concerned for the future at this point. I think, the fact that Hyundai are as good as gone, and that the FIA seem to be belligerently sticking to this path that is, in my view and the view of many others, proven to have failed, proven to have not offered sufficient value to manufacturers. What are we doing? What are we doing? And then, you've got in the background talk of the promoter selling up. It's scary times. I think it is really scary times for the WRC. I think you can obviously argue that at national level and European level, rallying is in good health. But, I think at the top level, it seems to me, if you look back at what's happened over the last few months with them saying that they're going to get rid of hybrid and then backtracking and then talking about Rally2 and Rally2 Plus and then backtracking, it looks like the FIA, the promoter and all of these, major decision makers are just flailing their arms around, not really sure what to do when the answer is staring them in the face. You make Rally2 the top category, you tweak the regulations to allow a different type of car, probably small crossovers because that's one of the big sellers. Or as an alternative, I touched on this, I do want to mention it, look to the Chinese market and what they're doing and try and attract a Chinese manufacturer, or look outside of Europe. If you look at the types of cars we're using in the WRC, it's very Eurocentric. So the Puma is a European product, the i20 was a European product, and the Yaris hatchback is kind of a European product. If you, like for example, where I am in Saudi Arabia, you can't buy a Puma, you can't buy an i20, and the Toyota Yaris is a four-door saloon car. So it just shows, doesn't it? I'm not saying that we should base WRC cars on cars that you can buy here, but it shows, doesn't it, that the global market is very different potentially to the European market. So if we want to be a global championship, maybe we need to give manufacturers the freedom to look at products from different markets. You know, do the cars need to be so Eurocentric? Could a four-door Yaris work? You know, should a Hyundai Kona, which is a more global product, be the car? I think there needs to be a serious discussion. I wrote this at the end of last week, before this Rally2 Spaceframe nonsense came out. With everything that's happening right now, with Hyundai leaving, or probably leaving, with small hatchbacks dying, with the internal combustion engine potentially dying, you know, the 1.6 four-cylinder turbo engine is now all but irrelevant. It is the time for action is now, and the FIA really need to get their act together and make some solid decisions based on what manufacturers want and what is in the best interest of the sport. And I guarantee you that is not a Spaceframe, whether it is in Rally 1 or Rally 2. So there we go. I think it's time to stop ranting. I ranted for much longer than I thought I would, but it is an emotive topic. I know lots and lots of people have strong feelings about this. People are frustrated at the direction of the sport, and it feels like the ship is not being, I was going to say not being steered in a sensible direction. It feels like it's being steered in circles, upside down, backwards and forwards at the moment. It feels like they really do not know what to do. It feels like panic has set in, and scary times, isn't it? Scary times. Anyway, let's stop there. I really hope that the next video will be more positive and we'll be back to talking about fun and exciting things. As always, you know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe, follow me over on the socials as well for more stuff, and I will see you again next time.